According to the Bible, a burning bush appears to a sunstruck shepherd on a rocky hillside. As a result of this miraculous happening, this shepherd leads nearly 2 million refugees out of bondage into the desert. Pursued by Pharaoh's army, the refugees become trapped at the edge of the Red Sea until another miraculous event occurs. The refugees are saved, but the Egyptian army is drowned. Did this really happen? Is the Bible accurate about this account? Was it a miracle or mirage?
The idea that hundreds of thousands of Israelites passed through the Red Sea is crazy. The Bible says that there were 603,000 males, which means over 2 million people who passed through those waters. It most likely would have taken several weeks for all those people just to cross. The whole idea is crazy.
The biblical story of the Exodus is an eyewitness account written by a layman to his contemporaries. Although the writer was not a scholarly historian, there are enough historical kernels indicating that the account is factual from both an archaeological and Egyptian anthropological perspective.
On the face of it, the story of the burning bush is pure fiction, or at least mythology. It smacks of pious enthusiasm. The idea that a bush can be burning and still exist is just not within the realm of possibility.
The biblical story of the burning bush is completely true and totally provable.
Based on recent developments in physical oceanography and meteorology, we can prove today that crossing of the Red Sea would have been possible.
From the burning bush to the parting of the Red Sea, the story of the Israelites' exodus out of Egypt has been a constant source of disagreement among the experts. The Bible gives a remarkable account about the man known as Moses. According to the story in the book of Exodus, the Israelites were a people enslaved in Egypt. They were growing in numbers, much to the concern of their Egyptian slave masters. Because of this, the Pharaoh ordered all male Hebrew infants to be slain. A young mother, one of the enslaved Israelites, could no longer protect her infant son. She put him in a basket and set him afloat on the Nile River near the palace of the Pharaoh. A princess of Egypt found the basket and took the infant to raise as her own. She called the child Moses. Raised in royal surroundings, it was not until Moses reached manhood that he began to identify with his heritage. The story of the Israelites' exodus out of Egypt has been a constant source of disagreement among the experts. Truth of the story of the Exodus in the Bible depends on the answers to 3 questions. Did the 10 plagues summoned by Moses against the Egyptians actually occur? Was there really an enslaved people called the Israelites who made a great exodus out of Egypt? And was it possible that the Red Sea really parted as stated in the Bible?
Faster, you lazy dogs! Hey! Why do you rest, dog? Get to work!
Moses began to take a deeper, more sympathetic interest in his own people. When he began to witness their ill treatment, his anger and resentment began to grow toward the Egyptians.
Stay your hand, pitmaster! Why do you lash this man? Man? These are not men, my lord, but lazy dogs, and the scourge is the only language they understand. Now get to it! Stay! I meant not to kill you.
Moses tried to secretly bury the Egyptian in the sand, but was found out and had to flee to the wilderness of Midian to escape the Pharaoh's death sentence. He was befriended by Jethro, a Midianite priest, and married his daughter. For 40 years, Moses lived the simple life of a shepherd. Then, in a matter of minutes, he came to know his destiny.
I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have seen the misery of my people who are enslaved in Egypt. You, Moses, are going to go to Pharaoh and lead my people out of their bondage in Egypt.
Who am I to lead the Israelites out of Egypt? Why should Pharaoh listen to me?
Do not fear, for I shall be with you. Take your brother Aaron and go now.
Moses' encounter with the burning bush is one of the most memorable stories in the Bible, and certainly one of the most controversial. We are told by the Bible that not only did the bush burst into flame, but it was not consumed by the fire. This has long been questioned by Bible critics. So he went to Israel to question the experts there on the subject.
At the foot of Mount Sinai, one finds the monastery of St. Catherine. The local story of the shepherds, the nomadic people, the Bedouins, do hold that the actual bush that is found inside the monastery is still the same bush.
I can't confirm or reject that the bush growing at the monastery was the actual burning bush, but it is a specific desert plant that fits the biblical description. It's the fraxinella or gas plant, Dictomnus albus, a sturdy perennial bush with white or purple flowers common in the Middle East. The bush produces an oil so volatile that it can be ignited by the sun. The oil quickly burns up, but the bush itself is not damaged.
Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and pleaded for the release of their people. But Pharaoh rejected their plea, and God sent down 10 plagues on the land. After each plague, Moses went to Pharaoh and gave him the chance to obey God's command by letting the Israelites go. But each time, the Pharaoh refused.
The main purpose of the Exodus story is not to describe history. The main purpose of the Exodus story, as it was created by the pre-scribes who lived in Jerusalem, was to glorify their God and to make their God look greater than any other God. And what they used was a series of old legends and distorted memories which they put together to create this story which has no relationship to history.
Archaeology provided background information for unlocking narratives and events such as the Exodus account. In this case, the account contains sufficient place names cross-referenced in non-biblical Sumerian and Assyrian cuneiform tablets to confirm the accuracy of the Exodus account, and to assure scholars that it was not an account invented for later consumption. Certain features of the Exodus narrative accurately reflect unique Sinaitic geographic features which only a person who spent time there would ever know.
There's an ancient Egyptian papyrus document called the Ipuwer Papyrus, and it recounts in eyewitness fashion the plague of blood, the plague of cattle disease, the plague of strange fire phenomena, the plague on the firstborn, the strange darkness, all the events that we previously thought we only knew about from the Bible. We can read about it in Egyptian records.